2 weeks ago, Maya never thought she'd be the kind of person to say something so bold to a complete stranger. But there she was, standing in front of a painting at the local art gallery, and the words just slipped out. "You keep staring like that," she whispered, "and I might start to like it." Let me back up a little. Maya had been dragged to this gallery opening by her best friend Lisa. Honestly, she didn't want to come. Friday nights were supposed to be for relaxing at home with a good show and some takeout. But Lisa insisted, saying Maya needed to get out more and meet new people. The gallery was crowded with people holding wine glasses and pretending to understand modern art. Maya stood in front of a painting that looked like someone had thrown random colors at a canvas. She was trying to figure out if it was supposed to be upside down when she felt it. That feeling when someone is watching you. She glanced to her right and caught him looking. A guy around her age, maybe 30, with kind eyes and a nervous smile. He quickly looked away, pretending to be fascinated by the painting. But 30 seconds later, she caught him looking again. This happened 3 more times. Each time, he'd look away quickly, like a kid caught stealing cookies. It was actually kind of cute in a awkward way. Maya felt a small smile forming on her lips. The thing is, Maya had spent the last year avoiding exactly this kind of situation. Her last relationship had ended badly. Not in a dramatic way, just in that slow, painful way where two people realize they want different things. Her ex, Daniel, had gotten a job offer across the country. He wanted to go. She wanted to stay. Neither was willing to compromise. So, they ended it. Since then, Maya had built walls. Thick ones. The kind that kept her safe but also kept her alone. She went to work, came home, hung out with Lisa occasionally, and that was it. Safe. Predictable. Boring. But something about this guy's awkward staring made her feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. A spark. A tiny flame of interest that she thought had died out completely. When she caught him looking the 5th time, she decided to do something completely unlike herself. Instead of looking away or walking to another painting, she turned to face him directly. That's when she said it. "You keep staring like that, and I might start to like it." His face turned red instantly. Like, really red. He opened his mouth, closed it, then opened it again, like a fish out of water. Maya almost laughed. Almost. I'm sorry," he finally managed. "That painting behind you. It's my favorite in the whole gallery." Maya raised an eyebrow and glanced back at the mess of colors behind her. "This one? Really?" "Okay, no," he admitted, a genuine smile breaking through his embarrassment. "I was totally staring at you. That was a terrible excuse." Now it was Maya's turn to feel her cheeks warm. But there was something refreshing about his honesty. No games. No smooth lines. Just the truth. "I'm Raj," he said, extending his hand. "Maya," she replied, shaking it. His hand was warm and his grip was gentle but confident. They stood there for a moment, hands still connected, neither quite sure what to say next. Lisa would later call this a meet-cute moment. Maya would call it terrifying and exhilarating in equal measure. "So," Raj said, finally letting go of her hand, "do you actually like art? Or were you also dragged here by a well-meaning friend?" Maya laughed, a real laugh. "Is it that obvious? I saw you trying to figure out if that painting was upside down. Trust me, I did the same thing 10 minutes ago." They spent the next hour walking through the gallery together, making up ridiculous stories about what each painting meant. Raj said one abstract piece was clearly about a man's journey to find the perfect pizza. Maya insisted another was depicting the eternal struggle of doing laundry. People probably thought they were crazy, laughing and joking in a serious art gallery. When the gallery started closing, they found themselves outside on the sidewalk, neither wanting the evening to end, but neither brave enough to suggest continuing it. This was fun, Raj said, hands in his pockets, looking at his shoes. Yeah, Maya agreed, clutching her purse strap. It really was. Maybe we could. Raj started, then stopped. Never mind. What? Maya asked. Nothing. It's just, I probably shouldn't. I just moved here 2 months ago, and I'm still figuring things out. Work is crazy. And I just got out of something complicated, and I promised myself I'd focus on my career for a while and not jump into anything, and... He was rambling. Maya recognized it, because she did the same thing when she was nervous. I get it, she said softly, saving him from further embarrassment. Trust me. I really do. Their eyes met again. That same spark, from earlier, but stronger now. Undeniable. Lisa appeared then. Perfect timing as always, asking if Maya was ready to go. Maya nodded, gave Raj one last smile, and walked away. She didn't ask for his number. He didn't ask for hers. They both had their reasons. Good reasons. Logical reasons. But as Maya lay in bed that night, she couldn't stop thinking about his smile, his laugh, and the way her walls had cracked just a little bit when he was near. And Maya tried to forget about the guy from the gallery. She really did. But every morning, when she made her coffee, she thought about his laugh. Every time she passed an art gallery, she remembered their silly conversations about the paintings. Lisa kept teasing her about it. Just go to that coffee shop on 5th Street. I heard from someone who heard from someone that he goes there. Maya refused. That felt too much like chasing someone. Too desperate. Too risky. Besides, what would she even say if she saw him? Hey, remember me? The girl who made that weird comment and then disappeared? But on Tuesday morning, fate decided to interfere. Maya's usual coffee shop had a sign on the door. Closed for renovations until next week. She stood there, staring at the sign, her morning already feeling ruined without caffeine. The nearest cafe was the Daily Grind on 5th Street. Of course it was. Maya debated with herself for a full minute on the sidewalk. She could just skip coffee today, or she could go home and make instant coffee, which tasted terrible but was better than nothing. Or she could be an adult and just go to a different coffee shop without making it weird. She chose the third option. Kind of. The moment she walked into the Daily Grind, she saw him. Raj was sitting at a corner table with his laptop open, completely focused on his work. He hadn't noticed her yet. Maya could still turn around and leave. Nobody would know. But then he looked up, and his eyes went wide with surprise. A smile spread across his face, genuine and warm, and he waved her over. Maya's heart was beating way too fast for someone just walking across a coffee shop. She bought her coffee first, giving herself time to breathe and calm down. Then she walked over to his table. Fancy meeting you here, Raj said, closing his laptop. Yeah, what are the odds? Maya tried to sound casual, but she was pretty sure she sounded as nervous as she felt. "Wanna sit?" he asked, gesturing to the empty chair. Maya checked her phone. Her client meeting wasn't for another hour. She had time. Sure. Why not? What started as a quick coffee turned into 3 hours of conversation. They talked about everything. Raj told her about his job in environmental consulting, how he'd moved from another city after a relationship fell apart. His ex had wanted different things, and they'd tried to make it work long distance, but it just didn't. Maya shared her own story. 4 years with Daniel, planning a future together, and then watching it all crumble when neither of them was willing to give up what they wanted for what they had. So, we're both running from our past, Raj said with a sad smile. Not running, Maya corrected. Just being careful. Right, careful. But the way he said it made it sound like a synonym for scared. They both knew what was happening. They could feel it in the comfortable silences, in the way they leaned closer when they talked, in how hard it was to say goodbye. But they also both knew They weren't ready. Lisa showed up around noon, claiming she just happened to be in the neighborhood. Maya knew better. Lisa was absolutely the type to orchestrate this kind of thing. "Oh, Maya," Lisa said with fake surprise. Raj looked amused. Maya wanted to disappear. Lisa mentioned the community center fundraiser gala next month. She mentioned Maya was designing the promotional materials. She very unsubtly mentioned that Maya might need someone to go with. After Lisa left, an awkward silence fell between them. "Sorry about her," Maya said. "She means well, but she's about as subtle as a freight train." Raj laughed. "It's fine. Actually, my company is sponsoring that gala. I'll be there anyway." Maya felt her face get hot. "I wasn't fishing for a date. I swear. Lisa just decided on her own that—" "Maya," Raj interrupted gently. Her breath caught. They stared at each other across the small coffee shop table, and Maya felt like the whole world had narrowed down to just the two of them. "But we both agreed," she said quietly. "We're not ready for this." "I know," Raj said. "Doesn't change how I feel when you're around, though." Maya didn't know what to say to that. Part of her wanted to lean across the table and kiss him. Part of her wanted to run away and protect her heart. She did neither. Instead, they left the coffee shop together and walked through the park nearby. They talked honestly about timing, about fear, about the fact that attraction doesn't care if you're ready or not. "What if we try being friends first?" Raj suggested. "No pressure, no expectations. Just get to know each other and see what happens." Maya knew they were lying to themselves. You can't be just friends with someone who makes your heart race. But she agreed anyway because the alternative was walking away, and she wasn't ready to do that either. They exchanged phone numbers. Real ones this time. Not just social media. They made plans for lunch later that week, carefully calling it hanging out as friends. The texting started that same night. Just a simple, "Hey, I had a great time today" from Raj. Maya responded. And then they didn't stop. Memes during work hours. Articles they thought the other would like. Late-night conversations about everything and nothing. Lunch turned into dinner. Dinner turned into a walk that lasted until midnight. They were careful not to cross certain lines. No hand-holding. No goodnight kisses. But with every conversation, every shared laugh, every vulnerable moment, Maya felt herself falling. Sunday evening, her phone rang instead of buzzing with a text. Raj's voice sounded different. Strained. "Can I come over?" he asked. "Something happened, and I just want to see you." Every logical part of Maya's brain said this was moving too fast. Her apartment was a mess. She was in old sweatpants. This was a terrible idea. "Yes," she said. "I'm at 422 Oak Street, apartment 3B. 20 minutes later, Raj stood at her door with rain in his hair and something in his eyes that made her chest tight. "My ex called," he said quietly. "She wants to try again." Maya felt like the floor had dropped out from under her, but she stepped aside and let him in anyway. "What do you want?" she managed to ask, her voice steadier than she felt. Raj looked at her the way he had at the gallery, the way he had across coffee shop tables all week. "I want to stop pretending this is just friendship," he said. "I want to stop being afraid. I want to see where Maya stood in her messy apartment, staring at Raj, trying to process what he'd just said. He wanted to be more than friends. He wanted to give this a real chance. With her, but his ex was coming back to town. The same ex he'd spent years with. The same ex who probably knew him better than Maya ever could. "When did she call?" Maya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "About an hour ago." Raj ran his hand through his damp hair. Completely out of nowhere. "She said she made a mistake leaving. She wants to meet up and talk." "And do you want to?" The question hurt to ask, but Maya needed to know. Raj was quiet for a moment. "A month ago, I would have said yes without thinking. But now," he looked at her. really looked at her. Now, everything's different. Maya's heart was doing that thing again, where it beat too fast and too hard. She moved to her small couch and sat down. Raj followed, sitting close enough that she could feel the warmth from his body but not touching. "Raj, we've known each other for 2 weeks," Maya said, trying to be the logical one even though her emotions were all over the place. "Your ex, she was a big part of your life. Maybe you need to talk to her. Get closure. Figure out what you really want." "I know what I want," Raj said firmly. "Do you?" Maya challenged. "Or are you just running away from something complicated toward something easier?" The question hung between them. It was harsh, but it needed to be asked. Maya had been someone's second choice before, and she wouldn't do it again. Raj leaned back against the couch, staring at the ceiling. "When Priya and I broke up, I was devastated. I thought she was it for me. You know? We had plans, a future. And then she chose her career over us, and I felt like I wasn't enough." "I get that," Maya said softly, thinking about Daniel. "But here's the thing," Raj continued, looking at her now. "When I'm with you, I don't feel like I'm trying to be enough. I just feel like myself. And that's enough. Does that make sense?" It made perfect sense. Maya felt the same way. With Daniel, she'd always felt like she was competing with his ambitions. With Raj, even in just 2 weeks, she felt seen. "So what happens now?" Maya asked. "I meet with Priya, I hear what she has to say. And I'm honest with her about meeting you." Raj reached for Maya's hand, hesitating for just a second before taking it. "But I need you to know that I'm not confused about what I want. I just need to close that chapter. Properly." Maya squeezed his hand. "Okay. But Raj, if you talk to her and realize you still have feelings, you need to tell me. Don't string me along because you think it's the kind thing to do." "I promise," he said. They sat like that for a while, hands intertwined, both processing the sudden shift in their relationship. Everything had moved so fast. Too fast, probably. But neither of them seemed to want to slow down. The next few days were strange. Raj was different. Not distant, exactly, but distracted. He still texted Maya, but the messages were shorter, less frequent. She tried not to overthink it, but her brain wouldn't cooperate. Lisa noticed immediately. "What's wrong? You've been checking your phone every 5 seconds." Maya explained everything over coffee. About Raj's confession. About the ex coming back. About the uncertainty of it all. "So he's meeting with her?" Lisa asked. "Yeah, tomorrow. And you're okay with that?" Maya stirred her coffee, watching the cream swirl. "I have to be. If he's going to be with me, he needs to be sure. And he can't be sure if he's still got unfinished business with her." "When did you become so mature about relationships?" Lisa teased, but her eyes were concerned. "After Daniel, I promised myself I'd never settle for being someone's backup plan again." Maya said. "If Raj chooses her, it'll hurt. But at least I'll know I didn't compromise." The day of Raj's meeting with Priya felt endless. Maya threw herself into work, trying to design the gala promotional materials. But she kept making mistakes. Her mind was elsewhere. By evening, she'd given up on work. She was sitting on her couch, pretending to watch a show, when her phone buzzed. It was Raj. "Can I call you?" Her heart jumped. "Yes." The phone rang immediately. "Hey." Raj's voice came through, and she couldn't read his tone. "Hey," she replied, bracing herself. "I met with Priya today." "I know. How did it go?" She apologized for how things ended. She said she missed me and wanted to try again. Raj paused, and Maya felt her stomach drop. "And I told her no." Maya let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. "You did?" "I did. Because she was right about one thing when we broke up. We wanted different things. And seeing her today, I realized we still do. She hasn't changed. I have. Are you sure? Maya needed him to be absolutely certain. I've never been more sure of anything, Raj said. Maya, I told her about you. About how I feel when I'm with you. About how I haven't felt this excited about someone in years. And you know what she said? What? She said I should go for it. That she could tell by the way I talked about you. That this was real. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. But they were good tears. So what now? Now I stop being scared, Raj said. Now I ask you properly. Maya, will you go to the gala with me? Not as friends. As my date. As someone I really, really like and want to get to know better. Maya smiled, wiping her eyes. Yeah? She could hear the smile in his voice. Yeah. That Saturday, Raj showed up at her door with flowers. Actual flowers. Nobody had bought her flowers in years. Too much? He asked, suddenly looking nervous. Perfect, Maya said, taking them. Absolutely perfect. Their first official date was simple. Dinner at a small Italian restaurant, walking through the city afterward, talking until their feet hurt. And when Raj walked her to her door, he asked, "Can I kiss you?" Maya nodded. And when his lips met hers, it felt like everything clicked into place. Like all the fear and uncertainty had been leading to this moment. This person. This feeling of rightness. When they finally pulled apart, both breathless, Raj rested his forehead against hers. "I'm glad you said that thing at the gallery," he whispered. Maya laughed softly. Me too. 3 weeks into officially dating, Maya learned that relationships weren't just about the good moments. They were also about figuring out how two different people fit together. Raj was wonderful. He texted good morning every day. He remembered small things she mentioned in passing. He made her laugh until her stomach hurt. But he was also terrible at communicating when something bothered him. Maya first noticed it when they were planning their weekend. She suggested they go hiking. Something she'd loved doing before her relationship with Daniel had consumed all her free time. "Sure, sounds good," Raj said, but his tone was off. "You don't want to go?" Maya asked. "No, it's fine, really." But it clearly wasn't fine. They went hiking, and Raj was quiet the whole time. Not peaceful quiet. Uncomfortable quiet. "Okay, what's wrong?" Maya finally asked when they stopped for water. "Nothing." "Raj, come on. You've barely said 2 words all morning." He sighed, looking out at the trail ahead. "I just don't really like hiking. Heights make me nervous, and my knees aren't great. But you seemed excited, so I didn't want to say anything." Maya felt frustration bubble up. "So, you'd rather be miserable and ruin the whole thing by being quiet and weird?" "I'm not being weird." "You're absolutely being weird." Maya took a breath, trying to calm down. "Look, I'd rather you just tell me you don't want to do something than agree, and then make us both uncomfortable." "I was trying to be supportive," Raj said defensively. "Being supportive doesn't mean lying about what you want." They finished the hike in tense silence. The drive home was even worse. Both of them stared out their respective windows, neither sure how to fix what felt like their first real argument. When Raj dropped her off, Maya almost let him leave without saying anything. But she'd learned from her past relationship that letting things fester only made them worse. "Hey," she said, touching his arm before he could drive away. "This was our first fight." "Yeah," Raj said, looking miserable. "I'm sorry. I should have just told you. I didn't want to hike. And I should have asked better instead of assuming. I'm sorry too." They looked at each other. And despite the tension, Maya felt something shift. This wasn't ending. They were working through it. "Want to come up?" she asked. "We can talk properly." In her apartment, they sat on the couch and actually talked. Raj explained that in his relationship with Priya, He'd learned to just go along with things to avoid conflict. Maya shared that with Daniel. She'd stopped asking for what she wanted, because it always led to fights about priorities. "We're both bringing baggage into this," Maya said. "Yeah, but at least we're unpacking it together," Raj replied with a small smile. The gala was approaching fast, and with it came new pressures. Maya's designs for the promotional materials had been approved, but her boss wanted her to network at the event, find potential new clients, use it as a business opportunity. Meanwhile, Raj's company was one of the main sponsors, which meant he had responsibilities too. Schmoozing with important people, representing his firm, being professional. "What if we barely see each other all night?" Maya worried as they got ready for the event. "Then we'll make the most of the time we do have," Raj said, adjusting his tie in her mirror. "Besides, I get to show up with the most beautiful woman there." Maya rolled her eyes, but she was smiling. She'd bought a new dress for the occasion. Nothing too fancy, but nice enough that she felt confident. The gala was exactly as stuffy as Maya had feared. Lots of people in expensive clothes making small talk about boring things. She dutifully networked, collecting business cards and making polite conversation about brand synergy and visual identity. Across the room, she could see Raj doing the same thing. Every now and then, their eyes would meet, and he'd give her a small smile or a subtle wave. It helped, knowing he was there. But then Maya saw someone she really didn't want to see. Daniel, her ex, walking through the door with a woman on his arm. Her stomach dropped. She knew he was back in town. Lisa had mentioned it in passing, but Maya had hoped they wouldn't run into each other. Not tonight. Not when she was already feeling stressed and overwhelmed. Daniel spotted her almost immediately. He said something to the woman he was with, then started walking over. Maya looked around for Raj, but he was deep in conversation with some executives from his company. She was on her own for this. "Maya," Daniel said, smiling that familiar smile. "You look great." "Thanks." "You too." She kept her voice neutral. "Professional. I heard you're doing amazing work. The designs for this event are incredible." "Thank you." An awkward pause. Daniel glanced back at the woman waiting for him. "Listen, I know things ended badly between us, but I've thought about you a lot. About us. And I wanted to say I'm sorry for how I handled everything." Maya appreciated the apology, but she also felt nothing. No anger, no longing. Just a strange emptiness where all those feelings used to be. "I appreciate that," she said. "Maybe we could grab coffee sometime? Catch up properly?" Before Maya could respond, she felt a gentle hand on her lower back. Raj appeared beside her, his presence immediately calming her nerves. "Hey," he said to Maya, then turned to Daniel with a polite smile. Maya saw something flicker across Daniel's face. Surprise, maybe, or realization that she'd moved on. "Daniel," her ex said, shaking Raj's hand. "Maya and I used to date." "I've heard," Raj said easily. "Nice to meet you." The conversation lasted maybe 2 more minutes before Daniel excused himself. When he was gone, Maya let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. "You okay?" Raj asked quietly. "Yeah, actually, I really am." She turned to look at him. "Thank you for the rescue." "Always," he said, then grinned. "Though I have to admit, calling myself your boyfriend for the first time felt pretty good." Maya realized he was right. They'd been dating, but they hadn't actually defined what they were yet. "So that's what we are?" she asked, trying to keep her voice light. "Boyfriend and girlfriend?" "If you want to be," Raj said, suddenly looking nervous. "I know we haven't talked about it officially, but—" Maya cut him off with a kiss. Right there in the middle of the gala, with people around them, and classical music playing, and the weight of expectations and networking all fading into the background. When they pulled apart, Raj was smiling. "I'll take that as a yes." "Definitely a yes," Maya confirmed. The rest of the night flew by. They did their respective duties, but every chance they got, they found each other. A quick conversation here, a shared laugh there. And when the event finally ended, they left together, hand in hand. Your place or mine? Raj asked. Mine's closer, Maya said, and I really want to get out of these shoes. They ended up on her couch again, shoes off. Fancy clothes traded for comfortable pajamas. Just talking about the night. About Daniel showing up. About Raj calling himself her boyfriend. About how they were actually doing this, making it work. We're going to have more fights, Maya said, being realistic. Probably, Raj agreed. But we'll figure them out. And there will be more complications. More exes and work stress, and life getting in the way. Definitely, Raj said, pulling her closer. But I'm not going anywhere. Are you? Maya thought about it. Really thought about it. About the fear that still lived in her chest. About the walls she'd built that were slowly coming down. About the risk of giving her heart to someone who might break it. But she also thought about how Raj made her laugh. How he listened when she talked. How he showed up, even when things were hard. How he made her want to be brave. No, she said finally. I'm not. 6 months had passed since that night at the gallery when Maya said those bold words. 6 months of mistakes and makeups, laughter and challenges, growing pains and growing closer. It was Sunday morning, and Maya was at Raj's apartment for the first time that week. They'd both been swamped with work. She had 3 major clients, with deadlines all landing at the same time. He was dealing with a complicated project that had him working late almost every night. They were learning that relationships took effort, especially when life got busy. I feel like I haven't really seen you in days, Maya said, curled up on his couch with her coffee. Raj sat beside her, looking tired but happy. And I'll finally finish the Hendrix campaign on Tuesday, Maya added. Then we can actually have a normal weekend again. Define normal, Raj teased. Maya laughed. They'd learned that their idea of a perfect weekend was pretty simple. Breakfast together, maybe a movie or a walk in the park, cooking dinner instead of ordering out. Nothing fancy, just time together. I was thinking, Raj said, his tone shifting to something more serious. About us. About where this is going. Maya's heart did a little flip. Not from fear this time. Just anticipation. Okay, she said carefully. My lease is up in 2 months, Raj continued. And I've been thinking about what comes next. Where I want to live. Who I want to live with. Raj, are you asking? Not yet, he interrupted with a smile. We've only been together 6 months. I'm not suggesting we move in together right now. But I am saying that when I picture my future, you're in it, and I wanted you to know that. Maya felt warmth spread through her chest. You're in my future too, she said softly. I don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but I know I want to figure it out with you. They spent the rest of the morning just being together. No pressure. No grand declarations. Just the comfortable intimacy of 2 people who were building something real. Later that week, Maya had lunch with Lisa. Her best friend wanted all the details. As usual. So he basically told you he sees a future with you? Lisa asked, stabbing her salad enthusiastically. Yeah, but he didn't make it weird or pressuring. He just wanted me to know where his head was at. And where's your head at? Maya considered the question. 6 months ago, she would have panicked at the idea of planning a future with someone. After Daniel, she'd convinced herself she was better off alone. Safer. Protected. But Raj had changed that. Not by pushing or demanding or making her feel like she had to choose between her independence and being with him. Just by being consistent. By showing up. By being honest about his feelings and giving her space to figure out her own. I'm happy, Maya said simply. Like, really happy. For the first time in years, I'm not scared of what comes next. Lisa reached across the table and squeezed her hand. I'm proud of you, you know. After everything with Daniel, I wasn't sure you'd let yourself be vulnerable again. I wasn't sure either, Maya admitted. But Raj makes it feel safe. Not in a boring way. In a way that makes me want to take risks, because I know he's got my back. That evening, Maya was working late in her home office when Raj texted, "Look outside your window." She walked to her window, confused, and looked down at the street below. There was Raj, standing on the sidewalk, holding a sign that said, "Take a break and come down here." Maya laughed, grabbed her jacket, and headed downstairs. "What are you doing?" she asked when she reached him. "You've been working for 6 hours straight," Raj said. "I brought dinner." He held up a bag from her favorite Thai restaurant. Maya felt her heart swell. He'd been working late all week too, but he'd still thought about her. They sat on a bench in the small park near her apartment, eating pad thai and spring rolls under the streetlights. "How did you know I needed this?" Maya asked. "Because I know you," Raj said. "And I know that when you're stressed, you forget to eat, and then get even more stressed." "I do not," Maya protested, but she was smiling because it was absolutely true. They talked about their respective projects, about the annoying clients, and the unreasonable deadlines, and the small victories that made it all worth it. It was normal conversation, everyday stuff. But it felt important. "Can I tell you something?" Raj said, as they were finishing their food. "Always. When I met you at that gallery, I was in such a weird place. I'd just moved here. I was still getting over Priya, and I'd convinced myself that I needed to focus on work and nothing else." "I remember," Maya said. "But then you said that thing about me staring, and you had this look on your face like you couldn't believe you'd actually said it out loud. And I just thought you were the bravest person I'd ever met." Maya snorted. "Brave? I was terrified." "Exactly," Raj said. "But you did it anyway. And that's what bravery is. Right? Being scared, but doing the thing anyway." He took her hand, threading his fingers through hers. "You've taught me that," he continued. "How to be brave. How to try again even when you're scared of getting hurt. How to show up for someone." Maya felt tears prick her eyes. "You've taught me that too. How to trust again. How to let someone in." They sat there for a while, just holding hands and watching people walk by. It was nothing and everything at the same time. "Hey Maya," Raj said eventually. "Yeah? I love you." The words hung in the air between them. They'd both been dancing around those words for weeks, maybe even months. But hearing them now, sitting on a park bench with empty Thai food containers and the city humming around them, felt perfect. "I love you too," Maya said. And it was the easiest truth she'd ever told. Raj pulled her closer and kissed her, soft and sweet and full of promise. When they finally headed back to Maya's apartment, hand in hand, she thought about how far she'd come. From the girl who'd built walls around her heart to someone who was willing to risk everything for love. From someone who thought safety meant being alone to someone who understood that real safety came from being with the right person. "You know what's funny?" Maya said as they climbed the stairs to her apartment. "What?" "If you hadn't been staring at me that night at the gallery, none of this would have happened." Raj grinned. "Well, technically, I was staring at the painting behind you." Maya laughed and shoved him playfully. "You were absolutely not looking at that painting." "You're right," he admitted. "I was definitely staring at you, and I'd do it all over again." Inside her apartment, they settled onto the couch like they'd done so many times before, but this time felt different. Bigger, like they'd crossed some invisible line into a new phase of their relationship. "So what happens now?" Maya asked, echoing the question she'd asked him 6 months ago in this same apartment. Raj smiled, pulling her close. "Now we keep showing up. We keep being brave. We keep choosing each other." "I can do that," Maya said. "Me too." And they did. They kept showing up through busy weeks and lazy Sundays, through disagreements and makeups, through all the ordinary moments that built a life together. Because sometimes the best love stories aren't about grand gestures or perfect timing. Sometimes they're about two people who were brave enough to be vulnerable, who were willing to risk their hearts even after they'd been broken, who found each other in a crowded gallery and decided to keep finding each other every single day after. And it all started with one bold statement. You keep staring like that, and I might start to like it. Maya had liked it. More than liked it. She'd fallen in love with it. And that made all the difference.